What's up, everybody? Unrested back again, and I just got to say a big thank you to everyone who congratulated me on switching careers. I figured people would be a little bit excited, but pretty much it was overwhelming how congratulatory and just overall motivating everybody's comments were. So I gotta say I appreciate that. I do read a lot of your comments. I don't always comment back because I don't necessarily have the time, but I do appreciate that. So, I think from here on out, I'm going to be trying to cover things outside of teaching, just because there already is a lot of J-vloggers who do cover a lot on teaching, and I myself, since I'm switching careers, I don't feel like it'll be my specialty as much anymore. On top of that, I feel like it'll let us expand our horizons as far as what you guys actually get to see here in Japan. That said, I want to try and cover one last thing, and this concerns teaching, but really in general it concerns having a job in Japan and living in Japan long term, and that is legal matters. And today I want to talk about legal matters. One of the problems of living as a gaijin in Japan is the fact that it is easy to get taken advantage of legally. Number one, because you don't usually come here knowing the language unless you studied it extensively. Number two, it's a totally different culture, and just because you've studied the language and you speak it fluently, that doesn't mean you know anything about the law. Okay, so the first thing I want to say is, for the most part, a lot of laws are similar to Western culture. It's not too insanely different here. But the way that they're handled is what's really different here. For example, and most of what I'm going to cover today is about jobs. For example, a lot of people sign contracts here in Japan just like you would at any other job in America or any other English-speaking Western country. But the terms are always a little bit different at every place that you'll go. Some say that you need to give 30 days to quit, and one of the things that I've seen kind of abused is that statement in a contract, because almost every contract I've ever signed says you need to give 30 days, and also some write in extra clauses like, if you quit within 30 days you need to pay us money, or if you quit within this time, you need to pay this, or you don't get your last paycheck or something like that. And I'm not joking, they'll write some stuff in there like that. So really check. And if they don't have an English copy, then just don't sign anything at all. I mean, they should definitely have an English copy if they're an English teaching company. Okay. Now, if you're taking a job outside of English teaching and they don't have an English copy, well, that's just your tough luck, okay? You can't expect a company that's not based around English to have their own English contracts. That would be ridiculous. So my big advice is, if you can't read Japanese yet and you are worried about your contract, maybe it is best for you to stay within the realm of English teaching. Within that, you need to be able to read your contract and make sure the terms are the same that you agree upon. Things to look for are the fact of how much you get paid, when you get paid, and also you want to look at, do they pay for transportation? Now, for the most part, I would say probably about 90% of jobs pay for transportation. If they don't pay for transportation, either number one, it's probably because they already offer housing, or number two, they're a crap job, okay? So I'm not saying any job that doesn't pay for transportation sucks. I'm just saying if there's not other added benefits that make up for that, then it probably sucks. Now, I've had other jobs that kind of trick you with that. They say, we'll pay it, but we only pay it up to this amount. And then the place will be way too far away from you, and you'll never ever be able to contain the amount that you're spending on transportation for your paycheck. And you'll see that takes a huge bite out of your paycheck. It's not worth it. One time I was offered a great job out in Hirakata. It paid okay, it wasn't too bad, but they only paid something like 400 yen for transportation a day. It's about a little under $3. Well, guess what? Every day it was about 1,400 yen, which is about a little under $14 for me to get out of there. So that means every day I would have had almost $10 come out of my paycheck back and forth. So $20 total almost out of my paycheck just to go to my job every day. So, I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. Do you want 20 bucks taken off of your daily pay just because you're going to your job? So look at that. Make sure you're signing the correct stuff that you want and agree upon. Number two, I want to get into actually if you suddenly quit a job, because this is issues that I've had to have happen myself in my life. As you know, I worked for Nova. Suddenly we didn't get a paycheck. Should you continue to work for a place if you don't get a paycheck? Hell no. Quit. Quit. All right? Don't come in. And even if you do get paid after that, I would say don't come back. That company's something sketchy going on. All right? I quit one company because my paycheck, they did pay me finally, but it was like 2 or 3 days late. And this job I took a couple jobs after Nova. And after I got that last paycheck, I just quit. And they're like, well, what are you doing? Like, you know, we paid you. And I was like, I'm from Nova. I don't know if you know the background, but, you know, we didn't get paid. The paycheck came late and we never got paid. So, you know, I'm kind of a little bit, let's say, not trustworthy as far as people who pay late. And you should be too. Honestly, you really should. Unless, I mean, you know a really good reason. A number two is if you do quit, if people try to tell you false facts about your contract. This is another issue I've had. I had one job where I was promised pay for transportation. I also did some side work for the person at the job as far as web work. He had asked me to do that. And all this was supposed to be added into my paycheck. First paycheck I got, it was not added in. Second paycheck I got, it was not added in. Third paycheck I said, hey, listen, this is gonna be your third strike here. I'd already talked about it before. If I don't see this stuff on the next paycheck, I quit. And he was like, oh yeah, no, I understand. And this is a company actually run by a gaijin, okay? This has actually nothing to do with Japanese people here in Japan. This guy was from the UK, no offense to UK people, sorry, but this guy was from there. Oh yeah, I'm gonna put that in there, don't worry, you'll see it next time. So, next paycheck came, not there. Guess what? I quit that day. And he was appalled. He couldn't believe it. He was blown away. I don't know why. I'd given this guy ample warning about what I was going to do and what my intentions were. Nonetheless, I feel he probably had some kind of superiority complex that no one will ever quit my company. Nice guy, but all a superficial niceness. And I think that's kind of what he thought would be a supplemental pay instead is his kindness. Whatever. And I quit, and this guy really, he just flipped, man. First, he asked for my paycheck back, all the money from my paycheck back, my newest one. This is stuff I've already worked. This isn't like I got paid ahead of schedule. This is like I've worked my hours and then I get paid, and he wanted that money back. Hell no, I don't do that. I work. I don't care what you say, okay? You can call me the worst employee in the world, but if I come to work and show up and do my job, I still deserve my paycheck. So after that, I said, no, I'm not going to pay that back, you know. And after that, he sent other teachers from the school to my house, 7 a.m., telling me to pay him back. Okay? Let's just say there was a bit of a confrontation. You know, these were just like young guys, like a little bit younger than me, I mean, and one girl, and they showed up to my place. I had some words. I took down all their names. I let them know that they were going to all be reported to the police. They got a little bit wigged out, but they were like, oh, okay, whatever, you know, we'll come back. And I was like, come back with a lawyer, you know. And after that, I actually, I actually asked for a lawyer myself. I paid for one. I retained a lawyer, that's how you say it. And I sent them a letter of cease and desist as far as harassment. In Japan, it is illegal to come to somebody's house and request money as far as like a company coming back and saying you owe them money. They can request it through mail. They can show up at your next job one time until they are told to leave, and then they cannot come back. I asked this, my lawyer told me this, so this is coming straight from a Japanese lawyer. Number 3, they can actually approach you anytime in the street and ask you, and that's indefinite unless you get a restraining order. So what I did is I pretty much did the equivalent to suing them. I counterattacked for number 1 harassment, coming to my house to extort money. That that was totally extortion here in Japan. I don't know if it follows the same in another country, but my lawyer informed me that coming to somebody's house to ask for money that they are not owed or that is not attained to a bill is extortion. It's harassment. And number 2, defamation of character. They put a letter in my mail that said, you need to pay us back. And it's completely untrue because there was nothing in my contract that ever said I would have to pay that back. And on top of it, our contract was verbal. That's a bunch of BS. Never work for a job that signs a verbal contract. So pretty much to this point, like, they actually now owe me money because of this. They had to pay for my lawyer fee after that, and still to this day, they are paying me back. And what they're actually paying me is a countersuit pretty much for defamation of character, which means, like, you know, defaming, making someone look bad. Because really, coming to my apartment and saying that I owe another company money, that can make me look bad at my own apartment, right? So, F that, right? Yeah, I countersued hard, and these people got scared. Their business is actually pretty close to my house, and once in a while I still see a few of them in the street. Oh, I love to say hi. I love to say, hey, how's it going? How's the company going? And they will not, it's one of these, like, I don't see you. Like, you know, like, I don't look. Like, they're wigged out. And I had heard later from another person who worked there that the teachers who actually came to my house were so stressed out that they had been entered into this suit that they actually quit the company because of that guy, and the guy lost almost all of his employees. So, yeah, don't ever try to mess with me or my family. I won't get physical, I won't get angry, I'll just get legal. And then, oh, okay, and another story I had, I worked at a kindergarten, and oh man, was this place sketchy, man. It started out okay. I was getting paid so-so, a little bit of abuse on how much I had to work for how little I was getting paid, but okay, whatever, I know what I signed. Halfway through my contract, a new teacher shows up in my classroom, and I think, oh, is this guy an assistant or what? He's a Chinese guy, and nothing wrong with Chinese people. I don't really mind Chinese people at all. And he shows up in my classroom, he's helping me teach, and I'm kind of like, okay, I mean, that's kind of nice. I appreciate the help. He could speak so-so English. And then at the end of the day, every teacher at that school was informed that they would now be sharing their classroom, their teaching responsibilities, and get this, their salary with the Chinese assistant, so that they could learn Chinese English because there's an accent when they have a Chinese background. Okay, now, I understand China is your neighbor, and it is important to learn English, okay, and I think that you should learn all the different types of English. I don't think American English is the best. I really don't. I really think you should learn all types as far as, you know, UK, you should learn Australia, New Zealand, American, Canadian. Okay, did I leave any English-speaking countries out of there? You should really learn them all because they are a little bit different, okay? We don't say Arvo in America, okay? Right? So their intention was that they needed to learn Chinese English, which just pretty much meant like bad English with a thick Chinese accent. Not useful. And guess what? I'm not going to split my salary for that. Hell no. Are you kidding? I quit right there. I quit right there in the middle of the meeting. I got up and I was like, all right, well, you better find a new teacher for him. They're like, whoa, wait, what are you doing? Like, you can't just leave. Yeah, if you broke my contract, I'm going to break the contract too. Because my contract said I got paid this all the way through the year. And they're like, if you leave, this is what the guy, the owner of the company said, if you leave, I'll take your last paycheck. And I said, nah, you won't. I already actually had looked up my legal stuff. And I said, nah, you won't because you can't do that legally. But I'll tell other kindergartens that you shouldn't work there because you're a really bad teacher for quitting in the middle of the year. I said, oh, I'll sue you for defamation of character, because I'd already done that. Trust me, I've got a lawyer retained. Do you want to give my lawyer a call? I've got his, here's his meishi right here, his business card. Mr. Ackerman, it was nice working with you. That guy calmed down, put his tail between his legs, and ran off. That was it. Don't let people give you BS. Don't let them lie to you about the system. Investigate the system. I'm going to put a link right here, Japan's Gaijin General Union, okay? And this stuff is important, man. The General Union. These people have taken their time, and this is just out of the own altruistic nature of their hearts, to put down legal stuff, not only in Japanese, but to also have it in English. I led this guy to the site afterwards. I said, here, let me send you a little email. You can switch this to English or Japanese in case you're not sure if I'm right about my legal concerns. And it'll show him that, yeah, you can't take away my money, you can't take my last paycheck, you can't sue me, you can't do defamation of character. Okay, pwned. That guy finished up real quick and paid me the end of that company. They later went bankrupt too, so their whole Chinese ploy didn't exactly work. Other than that, just remember that if you work, you need to get paid. If you sign that you're going to get transportation, you need to be paid for full transportation, but look for a limit. Some have a really high limit. And I think that's understandable, because if you want to come all the way from, I don't know, Wakayama and work out in Mie, you're crazy, okay? You're crazy, you're insane. I don't know what's wrong with you, because that is a super long trip. That's almost 3 hours, maybe what, 3.5 hours? If you're going to do that every day, and expect them to pay for that transportation, you're just an idiot, okay? The company's not being stupid, then you are. But if they've got a limit and it's like, you know, you can do, I don't know, $250 worth of transportation a month, that's pretty darn good. You're set. Don't get too crazy. But if they have something crazy like that Hirakata school did, like 400 yen a day and that's it, yeah, that sucks. I mean, you'd have to live right next to the school. You might as well walk. Just make sure you know your rights. That's the big thing I'm getting at. I put the General Union website up there, and I feel like that will really help a lot of people out. Something I wish I had seen as soon as I came here with the Nova situation I had to deal with. Until next time, I'm Unrested. This is JFAQ. Have a good one.